Hi everyone, this is Kelly with Kelly Ann's Crafts, and I am an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up. Today is our first video of the year, and we're going to look at our mini catalog that goes live on January 4th. This may be coming up either on January 4th or a couple days after, but I wanted to show you the catalog. Up until now, we've only been able to show the outside, but today we are going to work on a product that's in here. It's a suite, and we're going to be using it. It's called Be Mine. This is a really lovely little suite. It can be used for Valentines, but I really feel like it can be used in a lot of different ways and be used for, you could make it be something that is just an all occasion card. But the card we're making today kind of looks like a Valentine card. However, you can use it in different ways. So the card we're going to make is this one here, and it says "You're sweet as honey," and we are using the designer series paper. We are using some heart punches. The heart punches are, let me bring them out real quick, I forgot to pull them. They're called the Heart Pack. And these punches are, these are the numbers to these punches. One is the regular heart and the other one is the scalloped heart, and they fit inside each other. So it's really nice. It's a nice little combo pack. So let's get started with this card. Let me move my catalog aside. And one thing with this card I'll let you know is we are going to decorate our card with designer series paper, which means we just glue it to the back of flap of this. So that's what we'll start with. But before we do that, let me show you what's in the card. We're going to have our back flap. This is 6 inches by 2.5 inches to fit on the back, and then we cut it off. This is our sentiment. We're going to use Versamark and some heat embossing, and we're going to emboss today. This is a pretty good video. So we're going to do some embossing in white. Inside the card we have the 2 pieces that make up our B, and then we have one strip that is going to go on the inside of our card across our paper like this. Okay, and when we do that, it just brings the front to the card, front side of the card to the inside of the card, just for some consistency. But we're going to leave it blank so that you can fill it however you want. Maybe the person is sweet as honey because they helped you with something. It doesn't necessarily need to be a Valentine's card. And then these are our 2 designer series papers. Now, all of our designer series papers are reversible, so you can see that, like, on the back of this was honeybees, but I'm going to be using it like this, so that didn't quite work for me. But you can do this. Even this you can put on the other side and make it red. But for our card today, we're going to leave it with the yellow side up. And then we have this, and then our card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So one of the first things we should do is we should just burnish this real quick so we have a nice crisp edge. I like my crisp edges. And then we're going to get out our Tombow glue real quick, and we are going to glue this on here so that we can come back and trim that. So I like it to dry. So let me show you what I do. I just kind of squiggle this around. You don't want it too much, but the Tombow glue is called green glue a lot of times at my house. Is very forgiving, and it allows you to slide things around when you're trying to adjust it. Now I like to make sure my honey pots are going to be in the right direction. They will be approximately 1/8 of an inch over on each side, and you're just going to bring that up to the score line for this. And here's my trick. I take the bone folder, and I go and I just do this to make sure the glue flattens itself out. You don't want a bubbly back. And we're just going to set this up here for right now to let it dry. And we're going to start working on the outside of our card. Now, there's 2 things we can do. We can do the outside with glue, or we can do it with adhesive snail, the tape runner. What we're going to do is we're going to put down the top part, and then we're going to marry up the bottom part to the bottom of it. And the goal is to have approximately 1/8 of an inch all the way around when we're done. You can do it with glue, or you can do it with the snail. I am going to use this. I call it snail. It really is a seal. And I think the old one was called a snail. I don't remember. I've only been in Stampin' Up! For a little while, but I think some people call it snail. And I'm going to just go back to saying seal because that's what it's called in the catalog. Now that is not super straight, but it's okay that it's not. Well, maybe it's pretty straight. It looks pretty good. Let's put this one on. Okay, and to do this, I marry this up to the bottom of it. Just tuck it up there and then press her down. Okay, we're going to assemble this. I kind of do like an X on the heart itself, and then I'm going to adhere it on top of here. It fits in here really, really, really nice. I really love this punch set. It's one I've used over and over and over again. I've made flowers out of it. It's just a versatile set. And then the last thing we're going to do before we heat emboss and stamp is we are going to adhere this to our inside and our inside to the inside of our card. That didn't quite make sense, but I think you know what I mean. This is the inside piece that goes on the inside of the card, and we're just going to embellish it with this. Now the trick is to get it straight, and it's very hard to do. And I like to just kind of look at it from the side, both sides, and just push it up where I can, and I think that's pretty straight. How I check is I look on the back to see if I've got it overhung, and it doesn't appear to be, so I think we are good to go there. And here's my Z pattern. This seems to work the best for me to just put that Z on it. And then I'll set that aside for a second. I am going to come in here and adhere this. So our inside is done, our outside is partially done. We have this ready to go here eventually, but now we need to do the heat embossing on this. And the best thing to do for heat embossing is to first pounce it with your embossing buddy powder. And what that does is it just gets rid of any kind of oils or anything that could stick. The items could stick to the little powder. It's like a plastic powder. And the trick here is to try to put this on here straight. So I am going to do the best I can at getting this straight without getting my head in the way. And I'm not always very good at it, but we're going to commit to that. We have committed. Woohoo! Then we're going to pull that off. And now we're going to grab our embossing powder. And I put it in a little bin, and this is what I do with it. Not everybody does this, but I like to put it in here because a lot of times I can just put it on while it's in here, and I don't make a huge mess. Now there's other ways to do it. I used to do it over paper, and depending upon the size, sometimes I still do it over paper. Now you'll see here there's some extra pieces on there, and I just tap it as best I can to get off any extra. But if you've got little extras on there and you want to just make sure it doesn't do anything, it doesn't emboss the powder on there, because it will turn it into white specks on there. I just take a paintbrush, and it's a totally dry paintbrush, and I literally just wipe off what I think needs to go away. And usually it's just like a dot or two. And I just come in and I just clean it up a little bit. Okay, that's that. I keep my spoons on the outside Some people leave them inside, but then I have to dig for them sometimes. I don't like to do that. So this is what I do. Now, we have this wonderful tool that's part of our embossing toolkit. And so I love to use this to hold this. And I can honestly say I do not have the Stampin' Up! Heat tool. So I'm going to use a different one, and I'm doing this off to the side. So you can hear me doing it, but hopefully it won't take but a minute, and you won't have to listen to it hum along. It goes pretty fast when you emboss, and I really enjoy doing this. It makes it pop. Sometimes I think this is almost prettier than stamping, though it is a form of stamping. So now I can quit yelling. And there we have it. So, okay, and you still end up with a little bit of embossing powder on the table, so I kind of wipe that off. Now I'm going to get ready to put this part together, and what I need now are some dimensionals. So I'm going to turn this over, and I'm a dimensional freak. I love dimensionals. They are the best, very, very best, very, very best, and they're just easy to use. I don't think I have an order go in where I do not buy a couple packages of these. First off, they're cheap as chips, and so you might as well use them. And secondly, they do such a nice job at what I need it to do. So there's two ways to do this. You can pick them off, or you can take your pick tool like this, and I tend to hold it down, and you just poke and lift, poke and lift, poke and lift. And then you can adhere this. Now how we're going to do this is we're going to adhere this as equally as we can across that seam there. So now the seam isn't as noticeable. Let me see how those are stuck together. I can just pop those off in the dustbin on the side here and get these other ones, maybe. There we go. Pop, pop, pop. And we put this off to the side like this. So cute. Now the last thing we have to do is we have to trim our envelope so our envelope looks nice. So turn it over, and you can just go right along the outer side of your envelope, just like it's a pattern. I think this is a cool way to use DSP and also to just make something special. Sometimes people just do the inside, like sometimes they'll put something on the inside of their card, or in their envelope, but I just have to say this. Personal preference of mine is that it's on the outside so people can actually see it, because if you put it on the inside, once they open it, how many people look inside their envelopes? I just want to know. If you do that, please leave me a comment on that, because I would love to know. And this is your card. Thank you so much for coming out to see my video today. Please like this and share this with your friends. Please subscribe. The more people that do, the more I can share this. If you are interested in a kit, please message me and I will message you back on a kit with this particular thing. And I am calling this Sweet as Honey card. Thank you again. Bye-bye.